Well, hi, everybody. This is Diane Van Buren with D2 Solar and also a board member of Great Lakes Renewable Energy Association, featuring our supposed to be Thursday, but it's a different week this week, but the Detroit Solar Stories. We had a little brief hiatus for a few months, but we're back on and we have an exciting agenda for us tonight. Let me do our housekeeping first, as we know that these solar stories are sponsored by the Michigan Department of EGLE, the Energy, Environment, etc. Also Harvest Solar and McNaughton McKay. I'd also like to mention, for those of you who are members of GLREA or thinking about becoming a member, we are the statewide organization that is the voice for solar renewables in Michigan. We do have an annual meeting coming up. So if you head over to the GLREA website, and we'll post that for you, you can learn about our annual meeting coming up on December 4th, which is a Saturday, and lots of interesting, good things to learn about at that time. So tonight, we'll get started. We're really excited to feature a story that just deserves to be told again and again and again. And that's the story of our east side of Detroit, Jefferson Chalmers neighborhood, that has on their own created a solar residential project. So we've learned a lot about how Ann Arbor and other cities are creating their solar programs of neighbor to neighbor. It's already happened in Jefferson Chalmers and in a little bit different way. So we're going to learn about that tonight. Very exciting to learn about. Joining me tonight are Tammy Black and Brandon Knight. Let me get to the next slide. Here's our agenda. Tammy is the woman behind this great initiative. She'll be sharing with us what the mission and vision is for the Community Treehouse Center, which started this, but then also the Global Treehouse Initiative too, which is the nonprofit that's now running it, and what this 25 houses project is about. Brandon Knight, many of you know with Distributed Power, he is the one who's been working on the installations, and he'll be sharing with us their portion of the project. And then we'll wrap it up with what is the future outlook for the program. So welcome, everybody. Let me give you a little review of where Jefferson Chalmers is in the city of Detroit, because I know many of you are not from Detroit. There's Canada, our neighbor to the south, with Detroit River and Belle Isle. Jefferson Chalmers really is this wonderful neighborhood that was is now recognized as a historic neighborhood, but really developed in the first part of the 20th century with streetcar railroads that went out the Jefferson Avenue area. You'll notice all these slivers of blue slicing into the neighborhood. Those are canals, and in some places there's actual islands. You can see the one slice of blue that creates an island at the very southern portion. So it's a neighborhood that is comprised of working class houses built in primarily the teens and the 20s, but then also this whole riverfront community as well, parks, you can see a lot of green there. It also is largely influenced by the industry of Detroit that started in what's called the Connor Corridor. And you see the big swath of gray to the left where there are really no streets that go through. That whole corridor was the Chrysler Corporation and many other factories. A lot of working riverfront. You can see again those slices of blue that were the canals that came up into the Detroit neighborhoods. Directly adjacent is Grosse Pointe. So they're the gateway over into the suburbs. You can see how Jefferson Avenue to the very north of it kind of wiggles its way through the east side and how the river influences. You'll also notice how close to the river it is. This is unfortunately a neighborhood that suffers from flooding a lot. And you may be familiar with this neighborhood because of the issues with flooding every year. Last year, mainly, there was such high water in the river itself that houses were just being continually pumped out. And then this year we had 7-inch rainfall. Thank you, climate change, that came within hours and totally flooded out the neighborhood as well. So they have a lot of challenges because of that. And then also DTE is unreliable in this neighborhood, and we've had quite a few blackouts that happen in the neighborhood. But here you can see some of the really great highlights of the neighborhood, the river. Because of disinvestment, there's an opportunity that's also a challenge, and that's a lot of vacant land in the neighborhood. And we'll be hearing how Tammy Black in the neighborhood and her neighbors are really addressing that challenge as a great opportunity for building community. There's a commercial district that's still viable on Jefferson Avenue, one of the few in the city of Detroit that has so much diversity and really a strong network of organizations working to revitalize that, including the National Trust for Historic Places that has recognized this as a national treasure. And there is a GoFundMe kind of program to help with that. And then again, you can see the riverfront with the parks that are located right on. So Tammy, let me introduce you. This is the woman that has the mission and the vision, as we say, who started with the Block Club and then moved this into the Global Treehouse Initiative. So Tammy, tell us about this vision, when it started, and why? Why was the neighborhood so interested in having this new vision?
The vision started in 2015 with the Treehouse Project. The Treehouse Project was a project because my children were disabled, considered special ed, and to make an inclusion of kids who were slow learners, who were disabled, just to give them a place to be able to express themselves and be able to show society that they could be included too. But that's how it started. But after going through the neighborhood and talking to the neighbors and everybody, the Treehouse was a place that everybody needed, right? So with me being a lover of sustainable energy, mental health, food, flowers, mentoring, so all of these things like kind of transpose out of this treehouse concept, right? So I said, okay, the treehouse needs to be a place that's ran off of solar power because it's clean energy from the sun, and it's a place where, once green emissions gases will be eliminated, fossil fuels. So that'll give us a clean area, a clean slate as a community. So after talking to the Block Club, talking to community members, everybody yeah, we've been thinking about things like that. We were wondering, how could we get that? We knew that something like that was possible, but never knew it was possible in Detroit, right? So that's, was kind of the mission. Everything that I kind of set up on or do is kind of like keeping with the mission of the Treehouse, which we're planning to build next year over on the 225 Manistique. So that's the main focus of the Treehouse Center, is to make sure that everything is energy, renewable energy, mental health, and physical health, and helping the children, bringing the children in, letting them be entrepreneurs, showing them that, you can be an entrepreneur, you can, have clean energy, help with giving them jobs and things of that nature, just training them to be good people and respecting our environment.
That's an incredible vision for Detroit. A few years ago at one of our Green Task Force meetings, the mayor of Detroit came and we asked him, what is your vision for solar in Detroit? Because a lot of cities are saying that they're going to pledge to go with renewables. And the mayor said at that time, and this was, to be fair, 3 years ago, he said, well, I don't see anybody asking for solar in Detroit. And so that's one of our goals of our Renewable Energy Committee, is to make sure that the mayor knows that people do want solar in Detroit and that we're working for it. So the project itself, though, didn't really start as the original vision. the original vision was the treehouse, but then you were able to see that there were opportunities that could happen right away that didn't have to wait for the big idea, which takes a long time for funding. So let's talk a little bit about some of these incredible opportunities that have really transformed your neighborhood. There's art installations. We know that that was from the Charles H. Wright Museum. You see in this lower left-hand picture, what's it called? China Light. And this was for movies and projections. Let's talk a little bit about how that has helped transform the neighborhood as well.
Oh my God, that has really transformed the neighborhood. When the power, by that system that was put up by Brandon Knight in Distributing Power, that system allows our community, when the power is out in the whole community, because this is totally off the grid. So if any power goes out here in Jefferson Chalmers, our neighbors have the opportunity to come here, plug up their phones, any medical devices that they have, and get power. So, and it's been so important to people. They said, okay, we're going over to the solar. We're going to get power. You know what I mean? So not only do we have events here where we run like power equipment that we use for events, but it's for emergencies too. And we're so happy that Charles H. Wright took a look at what we were doing and the look at that we were becoming a force in renewable energy, that we would really appreciate this, and this would like be a part of a big picture.
It certainly is. And I know the artist Ash Arter, who envisioned how it was originally supposed to be this movable idea, I guess, from neighborhood to neighborhood. And then Ash said, no, let's put it in one neighborhood and let it stay. And it's just this incredible, it's like a greenhouse / movie house kind of cool looking thing. And I've seen images of it at night. It's just so beautiful. So but it's also part of this creative empowerment garden as well. Talk about the garden.
Yes. Well, the garden is a garden that that everybody can come to. We work as a team, as a community, and we have fresh foods. You get mental health there because we have a program called horticultural therapy, where people can come and, working with your hands in the garden, with the compost, with the plants, working with the materials. That's relaxing. That can help with depression, anxiety. So we use that garden for all of those type of things, because that's the mission. The mission is well-being and good mental health. So what better space to do it in, with fresh foods, clean energy, saving in utility bills? Because once you're not, I have a motto of, once you're not stressed about how much you're paying for your utility bill, you can, or a choice between, especially my seniors, do I buy my medicine or do I pay my utility bill? You know what I mean? It shouldn't be a choice that they, you know what I'm saying? It shouldn't. It shouldn't be a choice that they have to make. So when you can free them up of some of those things, that gives them longer life. And that's what made the Global Treehouse Initiative too, which was to let I'm a woman. I started this business. Children know I'm an entrepreneur. We can work together. We can make this work as a community. You know what I mean? A business from a woman that's in the community, grassroots. Brandon Knight helped me to develop this, and I am so thankful. Everything that I tell Brandon, okay, that's how the 25 homes were developed, right? Brandon, I want to do the homes, and I want to do 25 of them. Can you make it happen? Yes, I can. Yes, we can do this.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, and it's like this neighborhood, again, has a lot of vacant land. And when you come and visit this site, the vacant land can be very threatening in a lot of ways. It can be, a receptacle for dumping. But when you come and visit, and then also with the garden across the street, the Detroit Bloom Garden, you really feel like, where am I? This is just so beautiful. And it's not an afterthought kind of garden. These are really well planned. I think that gives dignity to the neighborhood. and it gives empowerment to the neighborhood. And so the next step was then this 25 homes project. So the goal was we were going to do 25 homes. Brandon, do you want to spend a minute to tell us a little bit about how 3 kilowatts and how that works for the 25 houses?
Yeah. Could you actually give me 1 minute? I'm almost set up to.
Okay. Okay.
Just like
Well, Tammy,
like
back to
literally
you.
1 second. Okay.
Okay. Well, we'll start with Tammy. Tammy, how did you decide on 25 houses in the Jefferson Chalmers neighborhood?
You know what? I figured 25 houses would really give an impact.
So yeah, 1 isn't enough, 5 isn't enough.
It would
25.
really
That's,
bring a voice. Yes. 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 25 was just like a
and
magic number.
so,
Yeah, I think I'm
Okay.
ready, by the way.
yeah, well, it's a goal, you know?
Started with the
Okay,
25
Brandon.
homes.
So it's
Okay.
25 houses. And, you
Yes.
know, I was out there today talking with one of your installers, Brandon. So we're hooking up one of them today even. So, so the goal was 25 houses. And let me just
Yeah.
quickly say that this is a real community project with grants, donated labor, and homeowner equity together.
Yes.
So Brandon, how did 3 kilowatts seem like the right amount?
And I'm standing at behind, that's a nice solar array back there, by the way. Not mine, unfortunately.
Nice.
But, yeah, it's very nice. So, well, the 25 homes, I think, was kind of arbitrary, like not arbitrary as in insignificant, but Tammy brought up the number originally, and it was, to me, it was exciting enough, like the scale of it and the challenge of it, and we wanted to make it significant enough to make an impact, you know, to drop you know, a drop of water or something in the bucket and create a ripple effect.
Yes.
So we don't know exactly what's going to happen, but a lot of it was meant to inspire greater action. So you know, we don't have an official community energy solar policy in Michigan. So we wanted to take the term community solar and redefine it. That was a big part of getting to it being, I guess, enough that it mattered and that it wouldn't just get lost. It seemed like 25 was, you know, that it would catch people's attention, and we knew we'd be making a big impact by reaching 25 people and 25 homeowners.
Okay. And then the 3 kilowatts, it's something that you could more or less package as scalable or doable.
Yeah,
for any roof,
I'd
any
say,
house.
exactly. You know, we had to streamline it so that it was challenging enough to bring it all together. So if we had to make designs and all the interactions with the homeowners and how much work that would have been to get everything designed custom, and we want to make it scalable and replicable. And so 12 panel kits seems possible, and to deploy at a great scale, right? So yeah, it was you know, it was push and pull, or feedback and responses. So Tammy brought up the idea, and we started thinking about it, and it took 6 months probably to come to, after all the feedback we were getting and what was possible and just how it was going to happen. And we had feedback from the community that they would be excited about, you know, 12 panel kits too.
So you didn't have to go what typically so let's compare it to like a solarized program that other communities have, where you work individually with the homeowner and you've got the bills and you have to do the whole, how much can you handle and this and that. You just said 3 kilowatts, this is the formula, this is what's going to work. And it really helped you. And I know you're not one to brag, but we see Devin here installing today even. This is donated labor, as I understand.
Yes.
So we won't.
Well, I think it's much greater than that. I think that Tammy and I dug deep and found solutions throughout the whole process. So it was never like, well, oh, we're donating this. It was, okay, we're here. How can we get 2 more done? How can we get 3 more done? And we've been doing that for about 1.5 years.
Okay,
so we're
the
at the
first
home stretch now.
installation was 2019 or early 20.
Yeah, in the winter of 2019, we started galvanizing everybody and we were trying to get everything in under net metering. And so we had a core group of homeowners that we got their applications in. Yeah, unfortunately, DT ended those applications and we weren't fast enough. And so it's been a major learning process. And we were able to get everybody into distributed generation, of course. But yeah, I'd say the first install was winter of 2020.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we're coming on 2 years now. Okay. So Tammy, you set out to get the 25 houses. Let's talk about that process.
Well, the process was I put it out to the community, especially my group. I put it out to the block club, my treehouse members, members on every opportunity, giving them we had a lot of meetings. We had a lot of meetings where we would tell them about like Brandon said, we would inform them about the kits, what they would look like. And I am so glad that my community trusts me to be able to help develop this, the project manage this. They trusted that this would happen. You know what I mean? It took us, we went step by step with not a lot of funding from outside people other than one funder. We did it ourselves. So, the community really trusted us with this. And it really paid off. And it gave us the opportunity to show that this could happen. Then we told them that the next process would be, we would like to monetize these homes, because once we monetize them, it gives us the data to let us know, what's actually happening, how much are they saving, so we can, it's a model to go on to other communities to be able to help them to do the same thing in their community. And it gives the opportunity for all communities in Detroit to be to have renewable energy, to be free, to help the environment. Because I think like this, Diane and guys, if you are thinking about, you're worrying about your living conditions, your day-to-day living conditions, right? You're not thinking about the environment, right? You're not thinking about, that, what's going to happen in the next 5 years with climate control. You really don't care about
Except
that
for when
stuff.
that basement
You're
floods,
thinking about,
then it comes.
Yeah, but when the basement floods, but see, people are mostly in low income areas like this. They're worried about their bills, like their gas bill, their light bill. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah, when the basement floods, it's really stressed. So if you can like kind of free them of that, then we can start talk about environmental things. They can hear us then, because they can see it. They can see what happened. You know what I'm saying? It's more of something that if you can give this to them, they're able to more apt come aboard with what needs to happen at the next step of saving our planet.
Well,
so that was important.
And I love that you put the signs out front, and it really invites the neighbors to talk to neighbors about what they've done. and to really see
Yes.
it's, talk to me about solar. And so you've created 25 strong advocates as a result. So looking at the images here, you can see there, this is not a cookie cutter neighborhood. This has got a
No.
lot of variation and some reinvestment. That bottom lower right-hand one, it looks like somebody's putting an addition on the back of their house as well. And the solar is a part of
Yes.
it. But you can see it's all income levels, all different types of houses, and one ground mount. I think that's, the homeowner said that it wasn't time to replace the roof. She knew it was, but it was a good solution, and she's just so thrilled that she has that ground mounted. Brandon, do you have any, or Tammy, any house in the variety here that deserves pointing out? Was it a challenge? Was it anything in particular on the types of panels or what you did? So each of these is 3 kilowatts.
Yeah.
The homeowners each paid in a $2,000 startup,
Yes.
and then you
Yes.
guys covered the rest.
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. So
There-
they own
Anything
their
you
panels
wanna
and they're
add
getting
to-
the tax credit.
Okay,
So we ended up at the end here, we ended up having a flat roof that required ballasted
Yes.
racking. And there, the types of things that happen when there's a change in the program, and they ended up taking longer. There was a lot of challenges in terms of there was a lot of cooks in the kitchen throughout the process, and pulling different teams of technicians and installers in. So there was a lot of passing of tasks back and forth throughout the install. I've been down there sometimes trying to do what I could do. Okay, someone was calling my phone. It might have broken up for a second, but I think one of the big things that I did want to note, if just like in general, was I think that the self-determination of the community was very interesting, and also the grassroots organizing to for Tammy and I to ultimately connect, and to pat you on the back, Diane. The networks that we've been building in Detroit. So Ash Arter, who is part of a network called Solar Party Detroit, which is a small group that builds mobile renewable energy systems that, Diane, you're a big part of. You host the warehouse where a lot of the solar panels and equipment come for D2 Solar, and also where Solar Party Detroit hosts its meetings. She introduced me, well, actually Alessandra, who's in that group, introduced me to Tammy originally, but Ash was doing a residency at the Charles H. Wright African American History Museum in the summer of 2017, and because we were all connected, it's crazy. Because that happens, that really, I feel like, and Tammy is doing a lot, but that I feel like that was significant that the African American History Museum got involved, and it really backed what Tammy's doing, and it really backed like the solar aspect. And so a lot of community organizing can work. It just takes forever. So yeah, it's very self-driven.
That expression about 1% inspiration, 99% perspiration. But you have to have that inspiration. You have to have that community leader. And
right.
Thank you for that shameless ad there for D2 Solar. But we really truly see in Detroit that this growing energy around solar. And I think it is, when we get hit so hard with DTE, just feeling like they don't care, more and more and more people are starting to feel like, well, then I've got my own ability to find a different way. So we are seeing that. And, you know, to be able to lift up and to literally shine a light, is that art installation is called, onto organizations like Tammy's. And what incredible effort to be able to say we will shortly have 25 houses in a low income neighborhood, folks, when it's always been such a challenge. And people, and you know, DTE makes this claim that solar is for rich people and it's leaving the low income neighborhood behind. And people should pay more on their bill to go solar and use our solar program. We need to make sure that people know that no,
Yeah.
that's not the case. So we have 6 more houses to go. What are the plans? So Tammy, you talked a little bit about the treehouse that will be built in 2021, I believe.
Yes.
What else what are your neighbors talking about? What can we do to help empower more people?
The neighbors can't wait for the treehouse to be built. Well, we're doing more solar efforts also. We're doing I actually opened the Global Treehouse Initiative too, where I'll be doing some, with Brandon's help, I'll be leading my own initiative to do residential homes. And also we will be doing a power station together, which during peak time, we'll be picking up power from DTE and selling it back to them at a small level scale in a community for the first time. That has never been done. We'll be doing that, our power station. We just put solar power down the alley, which is solar streetlights, which will make the alley a walkable space for the community. So we've done that. We're doing a learning shed. We're also doing a house flipping program with youth, right? Where these youth, they're going to go into this house. They're going to learn what the put back together, learn the realty part of it, learn the financial part of it. If they're, getting stressed because of the difficulty, we'll have a counselor there to be able to talk to them about that. But that house will also be solar powered. So we're going to train some young people too to do solar power, and they'll be selling this house. Once they sell this home, this high energy home, they'll get 5% of the proceeds. The youth will. So we're so excited about that. And we plan to do some building too, Diane. Yes. So we're moving right along.
I saw somewhere this beautiful garden across the street from the community empowerment garden, Detroit at Bloom. There's future plans for even bird watching in your neighborhood, right? So it will become
we have a bird watcher
a destination. Yeah.
Yes.
It's beautiful. Butterfly garden. It's just just spectacular as a community resource. So you are the source for resources to your neighbors. Where do you find time for all this, Tammy? How do you stay stress free?
You know what? I think I stay stress free by staying busy. And I am always busy, and I love to multitask. I don't know what I would do with my life or with myself if I couldn't multitask from project to project or from thing to thing. That's how I live. That's what I'm used to doing. So, and I'm excited every time an accomplishment happens. So I'm just a multitasker and a hard worker, I guess.
Okay, well, it's a blessing that we have you in Detroit. Brandon, it's a blessing that we have you working with Tammy and with so many Detroit projects. I mean, you can't turn around without Brandon Knight's name coming up as a part of the different Detroit projects. So we do appreciate both of you tremendously. And Global Treehouse 2, number 2. Can you type into the chat what your website is, and maybe people can find more information from your website, some funding opportunities coming up that you'll be looking for to help the Community Treehouse Center become a reality. And I think we'll open it up for questions. So now I have to get out of that and hope I'm not deleting myself out of. Okay, so we're still in. Okay. I always panic at this, that I'm going to do something wrong. Are there any questions? You can put it in the chat, or you can say that you're raising your hand. So Dale says, I'm curious how much kilowatt was at the garden and how much kilowatt of storage. So back at the Brandon or Tammy, the Shine a Light project, what was the size of that array and what kind of batteries do you have in it for storage?
It's about 3.6 kilowatt array, and then it's a 12. Let's see, they're 12 amp 48 volts batteries. So they're, what am I talking about? 48 times 200, 9.6 kilowatt hours in the battery bank.
And as Tammy said, neighbors do come by to use it, the power,
Yes.
charging cell phones, but also you have movie nights and you do different events out there. Please explain what the relationship is with the utility company for these 12, it's actually 19. They didn't get the net metering, but I'm assuming at 3 kilowatts, they're probably not exceeding their regular usage.
Yeah, they're all distributed generation projects, besides a couple got into net metering.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so the relationship is just the same as any other distributed generation where.
Yeah, they're
usually behind the
individual
meter first.
systems. No, they're on the meter. Everyone's tied to a meter. We specifically wanted them grid tied systems as the foundation of the program for sure.
Okay. I hope that answered the question for Marcia. Any other questions that you have? That one. Someone needs to mute, please. We're hearing a lot of music coming in from something. I hope it's not me. Any other questions about the project that anybody would like to
I'm wondering what,
ask?
the 3 kilowatt systems, kind of approximately what portion of their power is provided by those 12 panels? Does that provide typically 50%, 20%? Just approximately on the average. I know it'll vary house by house.
So it was I would say on average it was 50%.
Well, that's significant for sure. Yeah.
Yeah. And Tammy, does anybody follow up with bill sharing to see how the bills are going? That might be an interesting study for somebody to pick up on that, to as a case study to see how they are doing.
Yeah, the different
That's what we're doing. We're like studying the different bills and what they're paying, because like Pat Jones in the when she interviewed with the news, her bill was only $4.64. We have Bob Sizzler's bill, who's like $9 a month. My bill this month was, normally it's almost $200. It was $97, right? I was like, whoa. I'm used to paying a lot for electricity, but $97 was like half of what I normally would pay.
Okay. Did anybody go through on an energy efficiency scan first to get the DTE rebates or get the lighting? Was that part of the program, or is that something planned to help people?
That is a part of the program. So like right now, the customers, the 25 homes, they're getting scheduled for Walker Miller to come out. I partnered with Walker Miller. The light bulbs and the wrapping of the hot water tank, just in the shower heads. So yes, Yes, that is a part of it, to make sure that the whole home is efficient.
Yeah, and actually the whole
Yeah.
community should sign up for that because we've all been paying that fee on our electric bill for a really long time to make sure that everybody gets some energy efficient.
Yes.
I'm tempted to call them to come back and change my light bulbs out again for all the money we've paid for that. So that was, well, David, I think we answered your question right before you typed it in.
Well, Diane, I had
Yes, thank you.
a
Okay.
couple of things on that. I think going forward, so trying to sort of layer it with some of the services from particularly the free energy efficiency programs was challenging, and we had to limit how much we included because it took all our capacity to get it organized. One aspect that we are really hoping to move on to, but we got to get these arrays done first. There's a couple more. We're beyond 19. I think we're at 23 and change. With a couple that need to, maybe, I don't know. I'm always like, we're only at what? How is that even possible? But the energy monitoring, our goal is to install a third-party energy monitor such as Sense. And so Sense has fleet management capability. So we're hoping to be able to have a fleet of consumption production monitors and be able to aggregate all of the data to show how much is coming from DT and how much is coming from the solar array.
Right.
That's going to take about $7,000 of equipment. So because it's about $300 for the Sense times 25. So yeah, $7,500. So that's a goal for sure though.
And what
But we
that,
have like each.
go ahead.
What did you say, Diane?
What a story that
Each one of
will
them.
tell.
Yeah, well, each one of the homeowners are willing to pay that price for that monitoring. So as soon as everybody's hooked up, we're gonna have this meeting, and that'll be our next step.
Okay.
I have a question, if I might.
Yes. Okay.
This is a really interesting discussion and a wonderful program. I'm very inspired by it and so important. Is there any sort of plan for, I know you haven't gotten that far, but for the future, if people might want to add more panels to their houses and sort of come back and do that so that they can cover more of their energy usage? I would think they might, be so happy about it that eventually they'd like to try to increase their number of panels on their house. And the other question is, I assume it's not been simple always to find the right place on everybody's house to put these panels up. So the roof situation and the orientation might be not the best. Like some
Well, you could see from the selection of images we put up that, yeah, there's so many different, this is not a cookie cutter neighborhood. And so the variety of houses and sometimes the proximity of them to one another, and that's challenging. But Brandon or Tammy, do you know if people were saying, well, hey, I really want more? I know the way the program works, they contribute.
We have some homeowners that were saying that later on down the line, maybe they may want to add more panels, and that would be great if they want to add more panels, no problem. But yeah, we have some that are definitely saying that they would like to add more panels later.
Yeah.
Yes.
And I think it's about the inverter and other issues like that with how you string new ones along with it.
So some of them have like technically we left a lot of the inverters have 2 maximum power point tracking inputs. So when we could, we left, one of the MPPT inputs open for expansion. Yeah. One of the dream is to, well, part of it was we needed to limit it for the community because we were trying to come unified with what we're doing. So 12 panels, please don't try for more right now. We're trying to do this program. Right. And then,
right.
So, and the resiliency piece, so getting energy storage as part of this, which is so in the phases, it's just grid tied right now, then energy monitoring. We would love to flush out a virtual power plant concept to
Yes.
where, so we're not going to dive into that, but we definitely want to learn how to build a decentralized solar community in Jefferson Chalmers. And so we're that's one of the big things that's interesting about it. But Tammy will start talking to me about all types of stuff. And I made this commitment to the community to get these 25 arrays done. So it seems like we really, really want to start dreaming again and working on the next thing. But
Yes.
yeah, every time we look up, it's like, we're still not at 25. How are we not at 25?
You're getting there. You're
But
almost there.
yeah.
Well,
yeah,
and that
that's-
brings us to another question, and I think it is the next step on resiliency, is that Jim Paul has asked, can these residential projects add battery storage? And would batteries increase their savings?
Yeah,
Yes.
good idea. Or they can get an EV, maybe when they're less expensive and they can use the EV as their battery.
Definitely,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah.
Well, we've begun a dialogue with Sonnen that will AC couple any inverter up to 6 kilowatts, and they have a existing virtual power plant technology as part of their software, which, so that's kind of the idea would be to put 25 Sonnens in and connect them all and AC couple all of them to the array, to the AC couple the existing arrays, which you'd have to rework the electrical, but that's not a $7,500 thing. That's more like a $250,000 to $500,000
Yeah,
thing.
that's a big
So
ticket.
Right.
yes.
Yeah, that's a big ticket. And it is a low-income neighborhood. So although I've noticed a lot of really beautiful rehabs happening in the neighborhood and people are investing in the neighborhood, but I think the best example here is how this program, through the diligence of the program leaders, really have helped demonstrate how solar can work in a low-income neighborhood. And that I know with our Renewable Energy Committee in Detroit, which is working with City Council, this will be a great case study for us to be able to use with how do we get more sponsors for other neighborhoods, or even just let's go to 150 houses in Jefferson Chalmers. Sorry, Tammy and Brandon, not suggesting that right away, but it is a great project for us to be able to showcase that campus spirit in Detroit.
Is it a 501c3 organization? Is it a 501c3
Tammy,
collective?
are you a 501c3 nonprofit, the Global Treehouse 2?
The nonprofit that helps.
Sorry, you're really breaking up.
Did you hear me?
No, can you say it again?
Okay, the Global Treehouse Initiative 2 is the for-profit, but the Community Treehouse Center Detroit, which is the Manistique Community Treehouse Center, is actually the nonprofit.
Okay, so you do have a nonprofit arm that you're working with. Yeah.
Yes.
No, I thought, yeah. Okay.
Yes.
So yeah, we do have the ability for grant writing and and creating more interest in this. So this is
the projects are then listed on the website that people might contribute to. Is that right?
You know what? The projects aren't listed on the website, but we have the donation page on the website because we're a small nonprofit. So for somebody to keep up the website, the maintenance of the website, you know what I mean? So we usually have a donation page there, and all of our things that we're doing and happenings, we have it on like Facebook and things of that nature, but that is the donation page. And you would say, you know, when you donate, say, you know, I want this to go to the solar project, and that's where that contribute, what you contribute.
Yeah,
So Brandon, what?
yeah. So in terms of so we're trying to build up the local leadership in Jefferson Chalmers, represented with Tammy's organization and Tammy's business. The goal is to self-sustain from the neighborhood. So I think in general, if anything is inspiring right now, the contributions should go to Tammy's organization. I think then once Tammy and I get through this, and we can work on, you know, we really wanted to self-fund this. I wanted to self-fund this. We really wanted to
Yes.
without the idea that I think we want to work on that. We want to open this up to try to drive more investment, but we don't know what that looks like yet. In order for the outside world to be contributing to these projects, which I think I think we both greatly appreciate it, but it also adds a lot of layers where now people look at this a lot differently. And we wanted this to be like pure, like this is just our hands out. We weren't doing a crowdfunding campaign, nothing like that.
Right.
So that we are set up for more organized efforts. We got a lot of weird looks by people when we started doing this, that there wasn't a model yet.
Right.
So I think wanted to just prove a point. So but that's a really important question, because with I think we're the model. Yeah, there's a model we're going for, and we're teasing it out by doing these projects and having these conversations, and we're very open to what that can look like. So very complicated, nuanced question, but one of the most important questions for sure, because that now we're at that point where that's, you know, to be or not to be type questions, existential questions start coming up. And we wanted to drive that. We wanted to push people to think about, why do low income communities, why can't we do this? Why, with of climate change and these inequities, how ridiculous this is, that we're not putting people to work and creating programs to put people to work in low income communities, lowering their electric bills and lowering our impact on the climate. So not to start going there, but you know, we wanted to, it's hard to, if we would have been out there asking everybody for money, I think it would have looked a lot different. So, but we really appreciate what you're saying, that you want to contribute. So
I think, Brandon, the 25 houses, if I could just quickly sum this up for you.
Yes.
This is your test. This is your case study, and you're working through it. On the other hand, if someone wants to donate to the Treehouse project and help get that finished, then that is a different project. And that's where the fundraising effort really is most needed right now, is to help with that vision and making sure. Sometimes we start out with a great vision and then other opportunities come along, and it's been a blessing, because for all of us, you're out there doing this work and helping everybody see that solar works, and the sun shines on every house, not just the ones that can afford it. But the treehouse is the vision that I think you also want to see through. So any donations, I think, are more than welcome for that project. And Brandon, will keep your project pure and not get too many more donations headed that way. I know you did have a little bit of help with the Hammond and with the Knight Foundation with those other introductory program, but
And
it's
we're also taking donations for our house flipping project too. And that's a project that will be solared also. And that's to buy supplies for the kids to be able to go in and help do the porch, help tear out the kitchen, do the roof and all those things. So we do need donations. We do.
Yeah. And when you say kids, you're meaning like the young adult kind of
Yes.
job
Yes.
training program.
Yes.
That's perfect.
Yes.
Okay. I
Diane,
think
there's
we're
one
wrapping
important
up
question on
shortly.
here.
Okay.
There's one question just in terms of what the city of Detroit would have done. And I will say that pretty much the entire $25,000 grant from Hammond got eaten up by having to pay for permits. And so the city of Detroit did not recognize they ended up, they were going to work with us, but then they actually charged us the full cost for all the permits. And so with the projects being $2,000 each, there was an additional like $500 of permitting fees per project. So it was huge when it came through, and it helped drive business to pay for the Detroit permitting department, which is revamped their whole website and everything. But I'm joking, but that was something that's tough one. But for sure, it's, you know, working with the city of Detroit, they gave us no break on cost.
Yeah, that was a really good question, Ron. And again, I think this is going to serve as a demonstration to the city that these are the ways that they can help in the future with other projects like this. Yeah. So that wraps up our 7 o'clock. It's our 1 hour. Thank you everyone for participating. Thank you again, Tammy Black, for your wonderful inspiration and your guidance and your support for your neighborhood, because every community leader in Detroit has a lesson to learn from you. And Brandon, also your diligence and perseverance and work on a vision that this can happen. And it's just delightful that we're able to showcase a project like yours on our Detroit Solar Stories. So see you the third Thursday of December. Brandon, we might have you on again. We're looking at the Detroit Boxing Gym for December. So
Okay, cool.
Another great project here in Detroit to tell that story and how they are going to have, well, they do have a solar powered facility as an adaptive reuse project. So thank you all again, and have a great rest of your night, and see you.